Hello everybody, welcome back to the Mindcrack. Here we are, back in a Mindcrack server. Still got more key free points than Pack Rat. Just did a UHC with Pack Rat yesterday, you've seen the channel. Also did a solo Turtles UHC. Had some audio problems as I was rushing, and also wasn't a terribly exciting UHC. There were literally only 5 people. So won't be seeing that one uploaded. I highlighted it on my Twitch channel for posterity. But had 7 hearts and jumped in a waterfall, and the skeleton shot me off, and I had 3 hearts, and I landed right next to another skeleton, which immediately shot me for 2.5 hearts, and then shot me again and killed me. So that's how it be. That's how UHC goes. It's fine. I'm never winning a UHC. Anyway, we're continuing our Q4E adventure. Here, I saw there's some blank spaces on the map in this direction. Of course, it's nighttime. I just need to say it, and it goes away. So we're just going to be running along the border here. And then maybe get to a spot where we'll finally settle down and kind of call it good on the exploration, right? Or at least find giant, mountains we can start digging under for a city. Comp and Steve already have all the Q4E. Looks like Sakana's almost there. Good crowd today. So how's everybody doing? I was on vacation for a while. That was good, and you need a full week to get everything in order, screw your head on straight again. That's kind of what it felt like, but we're back. Living La Vida Loca. This one does. I still really need to find that Taiga village. Anyway. There. Then we'll really start in earnest on grinding Q3 items. I know we can get a lot of the deep slates easily. Then it just becomes kind of war of attrition. There's all the easy nether stuff too. Get us a couple hundred. So what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about, doesn't it feel like, so sometimes, I think people have a tendency to be like, things are getting worse out there. No matter what side of the political spectrum people are on, it seems like everybody's in solid agreement that things are getting worse out there. As far as what things are getting worse and when and how often and how much, nobody can agree on that. Everybody agrees unspecified things are getting worse. And some things are, and some things are getting a lot better. It's, obviously definitely the most comfortable time to ever be alive, and that's pretty sick. I'm not a peasant farmer in the Middle Ages. Ooh, ruined portal. It's probably already been looted, though. I think this area has been explored. Oh, maybe not. Honestly, the obsidian could be useful. Leave the rest for weary travelers. Anything I can offload? Do I need more bamboo, do I? See ya. I want to talk about one specific thing that I feel is definitely getting worse, and it kind of feels like the social paradigm structures of online society that really reached its peak form in the early 2010s are declining. I mean, let's just go over everything. I mean, you've got, Twitter, which, became this massive platform for, journalists and people to interact directly with the news, and, became essentially the most important platform in the world. And then outside the US was, let's turn my sound down, jeez. Outside the US, became an extremely important way of communicating free information. Now, I think I would argue, a lot of other people would argue, that people made a lot of mistakes of investing way too much attention and time into what Twitter opinions were, mistaking Twitter opinions for real life, elevating Twitter discourse. But I mean, Twitter directly got a U.S. president elected, almost directly thanks to his Twitter account, the attention's paid to it, and it during that time was, an indispensable, where, the president of the U.S. was constantly on there and became one of the greatest platforms. For the record, that's bad, by the way. That's bad. The president being a Twitter addict is bad. I just want to say this. But, I'd say there are a lot of good things about Twitter. I say it's definitely better than Facebook, which just basically was accessible. Twitter was a quick breaking way to have information. Some of the most fun things would be like, if there's a big sporting event and everybody's watching all together and you see everybody's reactions flowing in real time. And a lot of people had really great, communities that they founded together on Twitter. And lo and behold, it doth crumble to dust. Mainly because one man, the world's richest man at one point, maybe he's not anymore, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's close enough. I'll give him the title, help his ego. The world's richest man took Twitter so seriously. Still got thousands of blocks to go. Took it so seriously, regarded it with such import, that he spent billions of dollars on purchasing it, because he himself became an addict to the dark sides of space. I think I generally regard Twitter's impact as around neutral, as there's a lot of good and bad that I think kind of canceled out, as opposed to Facebook, which I think I generally put in a more negative category. And pretty much, the zeitgeist, the people in the know, long since abandoned Facebook. It's now the refuge of, boomers, essentially, the not as tech literate. It's kind of like the people who used to go on like Imgur, like the site, mainly like the Reddit photo hosting site, basically made exclusively for Reddit, and would comment on there, and thought they had like the Imgur community, and yet they were like the people in the cave and Plato, just looking at the shadows on the wall. That's kind of what the Facebook community feels like now. Like, I still maybe just randomly check it once a day just because I'm bored. And I just find it very funny. I mean, I think this is a good reminder. It's like, I guess I could say I'm pretty tapped into the, that's especially something that came true with Twitter, right? Essentially, it did kind of feel like you're tapping into, here's all like the journalists, the politicians, the people that are all on here making their moves. But, there's more communities than that. Like, I know that, like, Instagram is a place that I'm... Ooh. I think I found one of these and had no goat horn. It's a whole community that I'm not a part of, but I don't know. I do think it's funny if the people on Facebook feel a little bit in the cave now. But long story to show that Twitter, for however good it might have been, it is very ass now. Elon has thoroughly destroyed it, and he's one of those guys that's like actually right winger, but he tries to couch it in just like, I'm just about like free speech, bro. And I'm just really just a centrist that wants to hear everybody's views, even the racist ones, because secretly, not so secretly, I am also one of them. Hence my interest in hearing about their views. Someone has come here. Enchanted book, brush, crossbow. Okay. I'll take it. Let's hope this goes better in the UHC. Don't worry, I didn't die falling to my death. The skeleton shot me out of a waterfall, like how Beckerson died. Go to my Twitch channel if you want to watch it. So yeah, it does very much. Twitter had blue checks to help you know that these accounts were not fake accounts. Instead, he stripped the blue checks of all his accounts and made people pay for it. He's doing this because he's losing an obscene amount of money on his purchase. Because he made a joke offer for Twitter that he didn't expect of like $420.69 a share. Get it? He's so funny. And he didn't expect would actually happen, just as a meme. And then the people running Twitter were like, hey, that's way more than we were ever going to make from Twitter. So we want that money. And now he's fucked. And it's very funny that he's fucked, but he is destroying a very important way that people got disseminated information and a lot of communities on there. So you got Twitter that's falling apart. And now, we're all coming back to Zuckerberg, who I guess is doing a fine job with Instagram, even though it's, leading to chronic, self-esteem and depression issues and young girls who see extremely unrealistic images up there, but that's fine. That's a different conversation. So if Threads ever gets a chronological view and I can replicate the ease of Twitter, I'm just done with Twitter, man. Now all the blue checks are just like the most insane people who've ever been in your life, who are even either just like hardcore Musk fanatics, psychopaths, or probably have some very exciting opinions about the COVID-19 virus. So there's something that's tunked, and then you can start to see this happening with Reddit to a lesser extent. They start charging for the API, which Twitter's doing and Google Maps did years ago. Destroyed a lot of my favorite websites. Destroyed a lot of third-party apps. I never use third-party apps. In fact, I don't even use the Reddit mobile app. I just go to Reddit on mobile right in my browser. I don't use it that much. I can't even say it's that good. It's honestly pretty shitty, but I'm honestly a little fine with it being shitty because it's kind of a wall of like stopping me from being on there too much. So anyway, the third-party apps are probably really good. Now Reddit's like pivoting away from Reddit awards, which for some reason has really pissed people off. I mean, it just seems like a very weird financial decision, because it feels like awards are where they made a lot of their money. I mean, I don't necessarily think there's any, strong value in posts getting a ton of awards on them. I don't think that's a key part of the Reddit experience. I mean, I'm just happy that Reddit lets you opt out of the redesign, because I am no fan of the redesign and still use the old Reddit. So I'm just happy you can still do that. So compared to other Ds, Reddit's a light case. Oh, damn! Crazy stuff here. And somebody's trash pile. I mean, I could use that axe. Yeah, I knew this area that I was exploring had already been seen. Okay, I didn't necessarily want to do that, but boats be boats. Okay. How did that happen? It's just confusing. Do this, I guess. better have been this. Yes. So what is happening? What is happening to all of our favorite community spaces? It kind of feels like social media is crumbling here. The social media age is coming to an end, and whose fault is it but ourselves, you know? Because all social media did was just amplify what was already, you know, good and bad about people, right? It allowed people to connect with each other, allowed people to, you know, start playing Minecraft together and form great communities with people from across the globe. Because they were like, hey, I'm interested in Minecraft, or I'm interested in the NFL and all this, and form really fun little communities around that. It also allowed people who are racists to say, hey, I'm interested in finding other racists, to put it very bluntly. So all it's done is it's amplified, you know, the good and the bad. But I do feel like these areas, these stalwart platforms, and I still come back to, there's a guy who, when Elon was now making you can't see Twitter without logging into Twitter. Another brilliant move. Elon was saying, a guy was saying, like, how is this legal? Like, I live in Nigeria. Now, listen, this was a Reddit comment, so, I mean, God knows the reliability of this. He was saying, in Nigeria, Twitter was the only way to get actual information because, you know, the news media is, you know, kind of owned by the government and controlled. And Twitter is one of the only ways of freely access information. He's like, how can this man just do this? You know, when these things that are not, you know, public utilities, right? Like no very few media is a public utility. There's not a social media that is. Like, it's not like NPR has, you know, NPR Social, which is their own, you know, Twitter clone knockoff, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, Elon bought Twitter, and if he wanted to, he could have closed it right away. I mean, it's his company. He can do whatever he wants. And all these things, it feels like people couldn't find a way to, you know, monetize community. And you'd think, I mean, one of the tenets supposedly that makes capitalism work is that, you know, the market decides, right? And the amount of people that just, like, talking about businessmen here that don't, I feel someone without a business degree, thank goodness, and all this stuff, just fundamentally don't understand their business. It's just always so shocking to me. I don't know. I feel a lot of these are like the Sevidus. I love shitting on Sevidus, but a lot of his takes were, I think he is trying to play the devil's advocate sometimes, but a lot of his takes were like, oh, that's great from Elon. Yeah, that's good. Although he does a little laugh that makes me know he doesn't actually think this is true. Yeah, it's like now money gets involved, and like here's another one, like Wikia. Back in the day, Wikia, you know, it's honestly it's like a free open source way that you can make a wiki about anything, right? Like, you know, the big ones is like Star Wars or Wikipedia or something, or basically everything under the sun has a Wikia, right? And God, is it just, I saw the Minecraft wiki is basically saying they're going to switch platforms because Wikia, several years ago, they call themselves Fandom now. Like, they're just so shit, especially on mobile. I mean, you get these giant ads. It's so fucking slow. I mean, because you can't really have ad blocker on mobile. It's so shit. And I mean, it's like, here comes Wikia's getting destroyed, but people are trying to find ways to make more money off of it. And then what's going to happen? Your platform is going to die, and then it's kind of like you're in the death spiral now. You're going to have to make more ads to recoup from all the people that left from your previous ads. So it's very silly and stupid. Damn, doing so well. Oh, I can't make that jump. and just short-sighted. Just the short-sightedness is always just so stupid to me. I mean, it's risky. That's always the bit that really does me in. So, just trying to consider that. So it does feel like, a lot of things are changing, and now, in the media landscape, it was perfect when we're just like, oh yeah, we just have Netflix and everything we want's on Netflix, right? And then every media company, of course, was like, well, we want to have our own streaming service where we'll make more of the profits. And on one hand, it's like, okay, monopolies are bad, competition is good, but is there really the market there? And the answer is not quite, because now these streaming services, they're like, okay, now we've got to, make a shit ton of television in order to fill these streaming services, and we're spending a ton of money, and we're making all these TV shows, and now, it's not worked. Like Disney Plus, I'm sure probably pretty much everyone, I mean, even Netflix is now cracking down on you can't share passwords because, we can't get any more money because we've reached like full market share. Like if you want a Netflix account by now, you have a Netflix account. Like there's no like prospective new customers for Netflix, right? Oh, Spider Jockey. I'd say my favorite anecdote, that Spider Jockeys, there's a bug where Spider Jockeys wouldn't spawn for years, but nobody realized this because they're so rare that it's not weird if you go years without seeing a Spider Jockey. Glad to see him, though. Yeah, now the streaming services are losing tons of money, and then you've got rightfully, writers and now actors are all on strike in the U.S. and Hollywood, and you've got CEO of Disney saying like compensation demands aren't realistic when he's making like 21 million or something, and they're asking for things like be able to like scan people's faces with AI and being able to like use them forever. And almost every movie that's come out because of the pandemic or something is these like insane budgets, and like the new Indiana Jones movie, which is a perfectly fine movie, is gonna make like $350 million, which is a crazy amount of money, and it's gonna be like maybe the biggest box office bomb of all time. I don't know, it just feels like we've kind of lost the plot. I wouldn't describe myself as a leftist or anything, but boy, seen a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'd like to think I, don't be ideological and just see what's happening, and you see, your social media sites falling apart. You see, your favorite entertainment struggling. I mean, except for the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. Praise be. All hail. Yeah, it just kind of feels like culturally we're kind of in a bit of a cultural rut. Like we all had our, oh, accidentally hit shift. Still going the right way. Yeah. We all, we had our heightened cultural moment, during 2020 when everything was just, so everybody was indoors, everybody was online, everything was just really heightened, right? I mean, I think the stakes were really high for a lot of the things that were going on, and now we're kind of past that. Oh, another portal in the ocean. I mean, let's take a little look. How intriguing. Yeah, and it feels we're just kind of here trying to figure out what's next. and we're kind of maybe at a wall of innovation. Like, we do have AI, but is AI really going to help? Yoink. Listen, this is stuff. This is what happened last time. I know I don't have Silk Touch yet. It's a little cheap, but this is stuff that I discovered. Discovering other people's things is just as much part of the adventure to me. Okay, well, we're just gonna... We already have Nether Rack, right? From Ruin Portals, yeah. So, interesting. Our first time to Nether. Just gonna leave it there. I think the word I saw is like it's the end shitification. You know, we had these great, you know, I've been on Reddit for 11 years, and I actually do think Reddit continues to be the best social media platform just because of the way it's formatted with the nested comments, because you can downvote people, because you can silo into different communities, and partially because everybody is anonymous. I actually think that's a plus. A lot of bad things have been made about like the anonymous nature of the internet. I actually think it's bad when it's asymmetrical. When people that are anonymous are able to attack, you know, people who are being themselves. Ruined portal out here. I mean, surely I've gotten the gold block. Tools in. Good lord. Oh, it's over on the side. No, it's not with the tools. Resources, yeah. Don't really need the gold block. But there's 2. Great find. So much flint and steel. I guess at this point I might as well take one. Okay, I'll take the gold blocks because there's 2 of them and that interests me. Yeah, it sort of feels like, you know, what now? And, you know, we had this massive, you know, we had the internet, and then quickly we had, you know, smartphones that, you know, rapidly improved every year. And those have kind of hit a plateau, right? Like we've kind of perfected that. We've, I think, just really found ourselves in this situation where nobody really knows what people want. I don't think people know yet what they want. I mean, as the things are declining, I mean, you had the MCU was the forebearer of culture, and, you know, that's gone, right? Or have poisonous potatoes? From who? And that's, you know, really fallen apart. So I don't know. It raises a lot of questions kind of about what's happening to our communities. Where are we going? I mean, you could say the next forefront maybe of this decade is artificial intelligence, but I don't... It's interesting because I feel artificial intelligence is going to have a already is going to have a massive impact on our lives, but does it feel the same as I don't know. I kind of feel this with, like, you know, VR. Like, everybody was so interested in VR, right? Actually getting close to our little strip of undiscovered country, maybe because it's ocean. And sure, like, VR is cool, but I do kind of think people like to live in... I don't think we're ever going to be in a Ready Player One situation where people are just, you know, sitting with their VR headsets and engrossed in the metaverse, right? Like, you had, you know, Zuckerberg saying, oh, in the metaverse, you know, now you can meet up with your friends that are around the world, right? And now you can still walk around and go to the mall with them, and you don't have to be apart. You're all together in the metaverse. But it just doesn't hit the same. I think people recognize the value of reality. And, I think that's probably why this area is unexplored. His ocean, nobody bothered swimming through. It's okay, there's a big blank space. That's our goal. Get to that big blank space. So, I don't know what, we go for here. We've got, strikes and everything. We have people feeling lackluster responses to their movies, their TV shows. People, ratings are kind of down for everything, right? People, our favorite social media platform, are trying to find ways to monetize and are going to end up destroying the platform. Still, while the people that, blew it up, I'm sure, are going to escape with plenty of cash in their hands. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just really an interesting way. I actually think the one thing that I'm listening to right now, and I'm like literally, my TV show backlog's like 30 shows deep. So I haven't watched a TV show since October. So it's going well. Let's take a look at this boy. But I'm going to shout out some very niche media. I don't see a chest. The 7th season of the Doctor Who spinoff Torchwood, which is now an audio. I don't see a chest, so. Laters, Gators. Which is now an audio situation released by Big Finish Productions. I'd recommend you go listen to it, but it's very expensive, so. Fair warning. And I mean, it's dark, and I don't know exactly what the answers are going to be, but it is kind of all about this, about how, things are slowly seem to be getting worse. And then, of course, there's some, mysterious, maybe an AI, maybe a alien. I mean, God knows, we don't know what it is, being that's behind this, but the premiere episode is this, whole neighborhood, or they call them estates in Britain, which is kind of funny. The Brits always find a way to class things up, even if it's worse. About this, shitty estate, but it's been set up to have a group of people all predisposed to basically turn on and lynch this immigrant man who used to maybe work for the company that helped develop whatever this evil AI is, because they want him gone because he quit the company, and just using like social engineering to get people, everybody from very obviously bigoted men to someone who's your kind of racist aunt and stuff like that, to get them all together, create the perfect conditions for it. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's not good. We don't like that. That is scary. I mean, what else? I mean, there's a story about it's like this newspaper, and it's been taken over by the algorithm, and people can only do stories that the algorithm says are good. It's secretly run by a Nazi, and eventually, this gay Muslim reporter, and basically is pushing the algorithm to get somebody to get her in situations where somebody will kill her, because that will really drive engagement. And or when basically about the Ukraine war, about a whole city basically turned into like a destroyed as a propaganda and advert to get people to care. I mean, it's very incisive. It feels very of the moment. It feels very much like this world where not necessarily the algorithms are evil, but people are pursuing these things where it all feels very canned and dry. I mean, look at sports fans know, like Sports Illustrated, it's been hollowed out. I mean, local newsrooms, and I think this is where I'm gonna tie my thesis to. I think all people are longing for a sense of community, and I feel and for whatever reason, be it the internet, people spending too much time there, or having the wrong expectations, or being too nervous, it's tough. People are really struggling to find those communities. And it used to be, you live in your small town, everybody's supporting each other. Everybody knows each other, and community comes from, going to neighborhood block parties, or community comes from, a big one is like, religious services and religious gatherings, or even societies like the Freemasons or whatever. I mean, just anything that people could do to feel like they're part of something. That's where they meet people. And nowadays, and then that migrated to the internet, right? You're part of, like, I'm part of the Gallifrey subreddit, right? Or we're all searching for somewhere. We're all searching for something that can make us feel. And people stop going to religious services sometimes for very good, very understandable reasons. A lot of those were people, in charge of them exploited the power they had to do very evil things, and lose their credibility. Or just feels like in our modern world, where we can see galaxies and nebulas and know all this stuff, religious organizations are really struggling to retain credibility. Anyway, that's a side point, but I do feel like people are just hurting to belong to something. And it's great when it does. Like, I was at a packed bar when the Nuggets won their NBA championship, and it did feel like we were all in it. We were invested together. And the bar that I was at has actually, like, they basically based their whole brand on all Denver sports teams, but their signature focus around the Nuggets, in cultivating this community of people. And it was awesome. And I mean, do I think I'm hurting for community? No. But I also think the more that we see of the virtual world, and there is a lot of good of the virtual. I mean, I can't imagine what my life would be like without the internet. If I was, living in the 70s or something, it would be a lot smaller. I don't know. I'd probably be part of some, geek group that met up every week to read the latest, Spider-Man, or something, and we didn't know geek groups across America or anything. We just knew our 5 people in Denver, right? And there's no way to communicate with these people from across the country. But now, I have people I say are very good friends that live everywhere. And I think the internet is awesome for those reasons. I mean, there are people who I can call up and know I live in Australia and New Zealand and, half the states and countries in Europe who are friends of mine, and that's awesome. And the internet also allows you to stay in touch with people even when they move, right? I mean, think about how we could have gotten through a pandemic without Zoom calls. But just thinking about everything, I think the more, and this is why the metaverse isn't succeeding. This is why even when social media is falling apart, I feel so many people are then going to feel more homeless again and just be trying to find somebody to feel a part of. People need that real life community. You can't just all do it from your screen. You can't. You have to. It doesn't fulfill you in the same way. I also feel like part of is that so much of our work is now done on computers and screens. I feel, listen, I definitely am glad. I do not want to. I'm very lucky and do not want to be doing manual physical labor all day. I'm very glad that I can just work on a screen. But it's also, there's something, it's like this same sensation you get after going on a good run or something, or a good hike, which I did yesterday. It just fulfills you more using your body and being out in the world. I mean, that's just the truth. And I mean, I don't think it's entirely true. I mean, I have a blast playing UHCs. I mean, I almost said I don't have the talent to play physical sports, but I'm not really sure I have the talent to play UHCs. But it gives me a ton of fun, and I'm so invested in this Minecraft community that I do get a fair bit of fulfillment from it. But you turn off the screen, look around, and what you got. I mean, it's just me here. All you great people are doing all you great things. I mean, a part of me, I last minute agreed. I said even beforehand, I can only go up to an hour for this party, and I was really having a great time. But I did promise you guys, I mean, there would have only been 4 people for UHC, but I had been talking about it and promising it, and didn't expect to be having as much fun as I was, honestly. But I still left because I knew I had made a commitment to play that Turtles UHC, and I had a fun time. Honestly, if the audio wasn't fucked up, just because I was rushing, because I was sprinting over for that. Beep, 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 beep. Get out the way. Beep, beep. Honey, a ship just crashed into our house. What? A ship? Wow. What a great game. But we're on dry land. I know what I saw. A ship just slammed into our house. Get the fuck out. So that's why I think it's when we see so many of these things like movies, TV, social media platforms, which were ways that people found new sense of community, new forms of community that they wouldn't have even found possible, made friends they wouldn't have even found possible. And now, all these big, dunderheaded idiots are, fucking it up for everybody. But I'll say this, in the words of the immortal Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way. Whether Twitter, immolates itself and people move to threads. And honestly, I say I'd rather do threads than Blue Sky. I do feel part of Twitter's problem was like the elite intelligentsia that took it so seriously and, regarded it with such class, like it was a particularly, prestigious review in the Victorian era or something. I think Blue Sky is just kind of now, it's a place for all those, that kind of performative elite zeitgeist, and I think I've had a bit enough of the performative elite zeitgeist. Also, Zuck is Zuck, but also it's run by the guy who led to Twitter going down this path in the first place, so I'm not entirely sure everybody's so eager to get back to this man. But people are going to find their community, and ultimately it's going to be fulfilling to meet people. Like in January, I think I mentioned this in one of the episodes, I just started going to a board game group at a local bar. I knew absolutely zero people, and now I'm pretty good friends with a lot of them. And I'm not at the point yet where I'm like great friends, or I don't like talk to them or text any of them outside of that yet. And, I'm still, acclimating and getting there, but it's been really good. It's been really good and a real positive for me, and definitely something that I was missing, and something that complements the great group of people that I know on the internet. And the final piece I want to say is that's, I think that's part of the hunger surrounding like Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour. Yeah. Listen, oh God, the fuck happened here? The fuck? The fuck? The fuck is this? This isn't someone's like base? Is it? Someone's base? This is the most random assemblage of blocks. I was just saying that the thing about the Eras Tour is it's allowing people to feel like they're part of a community, and Taylor Swift has done this great job of creating this, kind of parasocial relationship where they all feel like, I have no idea what's going on here. I don't want to touch too much of it. Bizarre. It's parasocial relationship, but everybody there just seems to be genuinely thrilled to be a part of a thing, right? It's almost just, it's become bigger than the tour itself. It's become just a way for people to feel included. I'm going the wrong way. No, that's good. No, I'm not. I want that number to get bigger, or smaller technically, because it's a negative number. So that's it. And no matter what capitalism, and not necessarily, I'm not a huge fan of the term late stage capitalism, partly because I think it could be a lot worse. But and there are a lot of great benefits that we've had from capitalism, like this game, this computer, the internet. A lot of these things, wouldn't exist without people being incentivized to innovate, right? But it often ends up, the massive downside everybody knows is it treats people as things and items and numbers and an algorithm, and that's why I think it's so important for people to have that's so awesome to see, like the strikes and things like that. Because ultimately, the people are the power, and I feel like if people realize the power that they actually have within capitalism, then they're going to, and that could solve a lot of problems. But people are, kind of given propaganda or convinced that they don't have this power, right? It'd be really awesome to find a village around here. I do feel like, just generally based on like the taiga terrain, taiga villages are the rarest. I don't know. If people learned the power that they did have, that would be the effective enough counterbalance, right? And partially you'll see that, like, if Twitter starts to, fall on its face because people don't like the changes being made by the village, or is this just an igloo? It's just an igloo. I would have preferred you to be attached to a village. Don't even have a downstairs. What a shame. I'll take the red bed. So my advice is to, don't follow the zeitgeist. Don't feel like you're obligated. You're trapped to be on these platforms. Just continue to find your community and build it that way, and meet friends you want to be able to meet around the world, meet people that you want to be able to meet in person, and that's what will ultimately, I think in my experience, be fulfilling to people. Don't worry too much about chasing the trends, chasing the styles. I mean, these platforms will come and go. These things will come and go. But, your ability to be yourself and be a person and affect change and matter, like, it's all you, man. It's all you. You got it. So, yeah, to Elon, to all the people that are, trying to miserly take away or screwing up communities and not understanding. It's tough. It's tough, right? Damn, Prop 4? It's pretty busted. I'm gonna put that on. Sorry, Iron Boots. I just say, just keep fighting for your community. Keep fighting for your people. These platforms and the fat cats will come and go. So I know everything does feel like it's getting shittier, and it does kind of feel like we're in the middle of, COVID's over and everything, and now everything just kind of feels just kind of, that looks too good to be it. I think this is a village though, but I don't think it's a taiga village. It's a tundra village, which is unfortunate because I don't think this is where the large fern lives. Well, yeah, damn. Not the village I was looking for. Hi. Because ultimately, I think people find that the real world and real community, whatever platform you find, is more valuable than whatever metaverse crap the Zuck has cooked up. So that is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. Keep exploring. Next time, 391. I forgot to do this in the last episode, but we're going to find out what happened in the year 391 AD. What happened? The time it was known as the year of consulship of Titanius and Symmachus. Definitely known as that in China. Emperor Theodosius I establishes Christianity as the official state religion. There you go. And flames destroy the great library of Alexandria. What a year! 391. Big year. Big year. Obviously, if the library of Alexandria didn't fall apart, we would have all the answers now, because the ancients were definitely smarter than we are. Socrates would have known how to get out of this situation. All right, I'm gonna sleep here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I feel like this was a good conversation. This is a good episode. Don't worry, I'm seeing all those people at the party again soon. Catch you in the flip.